And here we go. So this is gonna be, uh, hi guys, my name's Joy. Yeah. Anyways, moving forward, this is gonna be a video asking what my channel wants in terms of an MMO, or if they just want a PlayStation regular single player RPG or game or sandbox or whatever. Um, Recently I was going to upload two other videos discussing um a Realm Reborn and possibly Elder Scrolls Online. Now, from what I've been reading on the interwebs or seeing on YouTube and shit for Elder Scrolls, they're fucking up their MMO really badly, and I've also heard the beta was really shitty, and it's a beta, so beta is close to almost done. Alpha is usually the product that isn't. Beta is pretty close to done. So if your beta's bad, then you have a big problem. So I wasn't a fan of Morrowind, and I haven't played Skyrim. I am a fan of Fable. Now, completely two different games. So, what's the difference, Joy? What's the difference in those two games? Both are RPGs, except one is now going to MMORPG, whereas Fable is still considered a single player RPG. Elder Scrolls is going RPG or MMO style. Um, Skyrim was a single player RPG too, and the reason I preferred Fable over Morrowind and Skyrim, like I said, I didn't play Skyrim, but I did play Morrowind, and the reason I preferred Fable was because I like to see my armor in a RPG. I shouldn't have to change camera views to do it. Now, that's unbiased, and that's a very bad opinion on Skyrim. I'm sure Skyrim was a great game. I've seen great things about Skyrim, heard great things. Now, that's not my complaint with Skyrim. It just, to me, there were some things in Skyrim that I felt that in order to be effective at combat, from what I've seen, you have to be in first person, where your hands are. That's where your hands are showing. The weapons in this hand, caster in this hand, whatever. And doing this. That feels more like a simulator of doing this, like you're touching boobs. Like, come on, that's not an RPG. That's poor animation, in my opinion, and that's just stupid. I want to see my armor as I progress through an RPG on my character. Why else make a character if I'm not going to see my armor? So that's my issues with Skyrim. And with Morrowind and all those other games, I don't find them attaching like I did with Fable. Fable, I could see my armor, see my gun, see my weapons. I look like a badass. I like the cosmetic aspect of it. And I think that's why I like WoW and other games like that. So, Elder Scrolls Online has kind of got the first person view. Kind of been a turn off. They do have third person as well. Hopefully the combat isn't shit in third person. Um, from what I've seen, the combat looks iffy. It looks like Skyrim combat all over again. And I think that's a big turnoff. You gotta have great core mechanics with your combat. No great combat, no great game. And from what I've heard, the beta was pretty shitty. Now, my complaint with MMOs in general, because again, WoW is on the back burner right now. I owe $180 to WoW, so I'm currently temporarily suspended from Warcraft. Cannot play it, cannot touch it, cannot do anything to it. I can't even glaze it with fucking donut sauce or freaking uh what's it called? Icing on a cake. I can't touch WoW basically. I can't log in, I can't resub, I am temporarily disabled and can't do anything until I pay them back. So, looking for a new MMO because I'm not gonna sit there and if Blizzard's gonna tell me to fuck off, then I'm gonna go fuck off and they're not gonna get my money. So, looking for a new MMO. Um, and I'm considering Final Fantasy Realm Reborn and Elder Scrolls Online and WildStar when WildStar comes out. A lot of people know I want WildStar to come out. I think a lot of people want WildStar to come out. So much customization in that game, it's unbelievable. I've seen gameplay of it as well, and I was thoroughly impressed. But the big issue with MMOs in general is the fact that the ones that start out with subscriptions. Now, I'm giving you an idea here. The reason people praise WoW so much is because WoW is the only MMO still to date with a subscription cost. Star Wars had a subscription. Guild Wars did not. Guild Wars 2 did not. But Star Wars did. Rift did. and I was there at the beginning of Star Wars, and it was really good. It was. And then something happened about 3 months in. Something happened, and I started seeing I started waking up and seeing it because I've already seen it in other games. But EA pretty much changed Star Wars in a matter of 3 months. They got greedy and arrogant, and they made some changes that I was not for. I was hoping Star Wars would have been different, and instead it was around the time that they gave the old PvP gear that I had to work months to get. What they ended up doing is fresh new 50s, got it in a box. They didn't have to go grind for it still or reduce the cost to buy it. No, they just got it in a box in the mail and were given all the gear that I had worked for. And at that point, that's when I had enough, and that's when I quit. I was a PvPer in Star Wars. I wasn't really a raider. And actually, a lot of people say, well, why don't you PvP in WoW? I don't like WoW's PvP. That's why I PvP'd in Guild Wars 2, and that's why I PvP'd in Star Wars. I enjoyed it more. I felt it was more chaotic and more explosive and more shit going on the screen. I felt it was awesome. It was fucking amazing. So that's when I quit Star Wars, and then I picked up Guild Wars, and I PvP'd on Guild Wars for a bit by myself, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I still do. And it's free. The only problem is that's really all there is to Guild Wars. It's not really a MMO if there's no raid aspect. There are dungeons, which I haven't done, so I can't speak on that front. I've heard they're really hard, um, which is good. I like a challenge. That's fine. But I just didn't get into Guild Wars as much as I should, and I was also by myself. So both those MMOs I played on my own. I didn't really have friends on those. Most of my friends do play WoW, so that's why I constantly go back to WoW. Except one MMO that did do some stuff for me was Rift. Rift is still pretty good. Pablo plays over there. I'm probably gonna go play over there. However, Final Fantasy Realm Reborn is on sale right now, and I'm in the same boat that a lot of MMO players are in. The same with Elder Scrolls coming out as well. We want new MMOs to fill the market. We want something that can compete with WoW. Now, Elder Scrolls, the Collector's Edition, this is the big talk all over the net. I've seen the game again. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm not willing to diss it or not give it a try. I'm not going to bash it really until I try it. However, from what I've seen, I'm not too impressed yet. I'm not sold. However, this is my problem with these two MMOs together, Realm Reborn and ESO. They both have subscriptions, so once you buy them, then you have to sub your month and do all that shit again, which I'm fine with. I don't care if a game's free to play or sub based. I'm fine with the subscription. However, a lot of MMO players from the past, from games like Star Wars and Rift, have already been down this road. What happens when we pay that subscription? Is it going to stay enforced? Is it going to stay enforced? Probably not. So we're just wasting money to subscribe to your game. If I buy a Realm Reborn right now, I get a free month. If I buy ESO, I get a free month. That will determine if I like the game. However, Realm Reborn is like $22 and ESO is charging $70 or $69.99 for the standard edition. They're not even charging 50 bucks. They're charging I think about 70 bucks and I think it's 99 for the collector's edition. So that's a lot of money to invest in a game. That's a big price. It's $100 guys for collector's edition for Elder Scrolls Online. No new MMO has ever been able to sell collector's editions for $100. It's usually around 60. Blizzard does it like 60 or 40. I think it's 40 for standard, 60 for collectors, which that's normal. That's what normal gaming should be. For me, I think Elder Scrolls Online and Belisar Studios, or however you say their name, the people who are who made Skyrim and all that shit, I think they're overcharging. Personally, I think that the pre-order bonuses, the whole game was built up on the fractions. One of the pre-order bonuses for the collector's edition of Elder Scrolls is the fraction, the Imperial thing, where you can change your fraction at any time, basically acting as a spy. It's to me, it sounds like a great feature, but if so many people have it, there's so many spies and there's so many traitors, and it creates conflict. And I can see that, but I could also see the fact that unless guilds stand up to it and say, hey, look, we don't want you in our guild, because it's going to create fraction imbalances. between the nations. Um, some people think it will, some people won't. I honestly, I look at it this way. I look at it as a free character transfer, I guess, or race change in WoW. Basically, it's a free one that they're giving you for the pre-order bonus. It basically implies that if my friends play in a different faction, I can join them, and I can play with them, and I don't see it as a bad thing, but I also get the fact that it's gonna make shit imbalanced for other players. But an MMO is supposed to be a game you play with your friends. It's a game. However, I think the cost for the collector's edition is what's really got me, and I think the fact that it's subscription based as well. $100 right out the gate for collectors, 70 or 60 for standard or whatever, and then on top of it, you gotta pay 15 bucks a month. New MMOs, I want you to take a good look at this because this is something that I think all gaming companies and MMO companies, WildStar even needs to look at this because WildStar is doing the pay-to-play method too. Except WildStar seems to be doing a good job with what they're doing to suggest the paying model. So I'm not gonna bash WildStar because the devs are actually listening to what players are suggesting, and that's why WildStar might actually be a great game. Not gonna kill WoW, but it's gonna be a pretty great game, I'm pretty sure. The devs are actually listening to the players, what the players want. Customization's there. So much customization. Oh my god, I could go on forever. Um, Customize your mount even. You can put a ramen noodle